succeed in this game was to get the Potom to farm well. And right now, Sentinel is letting this Potom farm, which I think is a mistake on their part, because I think if they could neutralize the Potom, their chances of winning this game would be very high. This Sven is just trying to run away at very low life. However, oh, Windrunner, you missed your shackle shot or your power shot if you had just aimed it a little more in that direction. Oh well. So this Earthshaker going to get the heck out of here. This Rashta may not be so lucky. I'm not liking the Rashta's chances of surviving. So down he goes. It took him a while, but it was inevitable. So this Necrolyte's got himself his treads, and he is just sort of farming it up and getting the last hits to fuel more pulses, to fuel more last hits, and it's sort of a recursive engine of Ponzor. That's one thing I want to say about the Necrolyte is he's a hero that if you can't last hit, you probably won't do very well with him, but if you can get the last hits in and just keep abusing that Scythe to get more death pulses, he can be a very effective hero. It's very important that Necrolyte last hits well, more so than other heroes. He is not a hero meant to be played by poor beginner players who cannot last hit. So if you're a lesser player watching these pro games and you ever see Necrolyte succeed and you say, geez, why don't I pick Necrolyte? Keep in mind that you'd better be able to last hit. Which is true for pretty much any hero, but I mean particularly for the Necrolyte. So Necrolyte's actually picked himself up a mechanism. I really wish they just called it that mechanism. I think everyone does. And Windrunner gets off a nice little shackle power shot. Oh, Lich! Lich caught himself too far forward. What are you doing, Lich? And the mechanism heals him. Earthshaker gets off an ultimate. They do pick off a kill on the who's that? The Witch Doctor and the Earthshaker and the Earthshaker, Witch Doctor, and Rasha. So it does go quite well, despite the Lich being very aggressive and moving forward like that. I guess Larry's power shot helped save the day, and I thought that Earthshaker's ultimate would have been enough to screw the Sentinel over, but really this mechanism that the Necrolyte just picked up really helped save their butts that battle, and if he hadn't had that item, that would have gone very differently than it did. But not just him, but the Lich just hit level 6, right, so he ulted there as well. And so I mentioned his ultimate's very powerful in teamfights. The Morphling picks off a kill on the Potom, but I'm not sure trading his life for the Potom is really an even exchange, but it's not the worst exchange in the world. His tower has the rune popped on it. There are 3 heroes pushing it. Meanwhile, Sentinel's kind of all over the place. Necrolyte's farming a whole bunch of creeps middle. Crystal Maiden just running around to drop a ward. Okay, now we see the TPs in. 3 TPs. First is the Necrolyte, but I don't think anyone else is really going to move far forward enough. So those were the TPs, but that's the trouble about TPing near the tower like that. Your rivals just get staggered and things don't work out. But they saved the tower. I'm sure they would have liked to have been able to catch a hero kill, but that would be unlikely considering they were going up against a team with so many stuns. Stuns not only fantastic in the world of Dota offensively to pin people down to get kills, but also defensively, just stun and run. Get the heck out of dodge while the enemy is immobilized. Bottom is getting a nice little bit of farm mid, and actually the 11-minute mark is come and gone, and I really should have mentioned the creep stats earlier, and I apologize. So this Necrolyte has 74, which is all well and good. He was laning against, who was he against? I forgot. Oh yeah, the Rashta. Where's Rashta? There you are, Rashta. 37 on the Rashta. So he did quite well for himself, I guess. He also has 1-0 and 2 kills. The Rashta's 1 and 3 0. So he's doing fairly well. The Rashta, we haven't seen him pushing yet, but just because we haven't seen him start using his wards to push yet does not mean he can't. Just at the drop of a hat, this Rashta can start pushing towers and become very effective. The Ilaria is at 36 and 11. To the Potom is at 48 and 8. So I think this Ilaria, she had, remember, the Potom wasn't in her lane at the very beginning, so the Ilaria really should have had the advantage. And she hasn't been able to get as many creep stats as she should. She does have 4 hero kills, but her creep stats should really be higher than that, and they've been letting the Potom get a few too. And the Morphling's at 42 lastly, and the Sven, where's the Sven? I guess the tri-lane farm's a bit split up. It's 12, 7, and 10. So it's very split up in the tri-lane, pretty much divided equally between all 3 heroes, which is not that good. It's not terrible, but it's usually not optimal. I mean, it's better on some heroes, support heroes, to have a bit of farm. Like, the 10 creep stats on the Earthshaker are fine. But on the Witch Doctor, that's just kind of a waste, really. Sentinel is pushing top lane. It's going to die in just a moment unless we see a Glyph TP coming in. And no glyph TP coming in. The last hit goes to the Sentinel, which is, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, a good thing, because usually you want the gold to go to your carries, and if you're a support hero and you last hit it, you're basically just taking gold from your carries. Rash to pop down his ultimate is in full retreat, but meanwhile, he might get a kill on this Morphling. Ooh, ult from the Lich, which, oh, the bounces aren't as good as they could have been, but Rasha goes down to an ultimate, and the Witch Doctor has fallen down as well, and this Sven is definitely in a lot of trouble, as I think Hilaria's going to have a stun in a moment, as soon as there's something to stun him too. No, she power shots instead, and combined with a Morphling waveform, they get the kill. So that went very favorably for the Scythe Scourge or Scythe Sentinel team. They needed that. I think they've picked up the hero kills a bit in their favor. 11 and 8 now. And again, I really do like their team more. I think they're a bit more balanced. Where Scourge is this heavy reliance on this bottom, who is doing fairly well. She's not like doing excellently, but she's doing well enough, I think, to carry our team if the game stretches on long enough that they need her to. The Earthshaker, he's actually, we'll see how much gold he has. No, he doesn't have any gold at all unless he has like a Blink Dagger hidden somewhere. No. So the Earthshaker is not getting his Blink Dagger anytime soon. Sentinel's being very aggressive here and making a bit of a pretend push against the bottom tower. Bottom fires off an arrow, but it's hard to hit good players with arrows because they usually see them coming and move. Which is, I guess, one of the reasons that Potem isn't so favored in pro games. For a Potem to be successful against competent opponents, you really need someone else to land a stun first, and to have her hit the stun. It's very rare that you see Potem land her stun without someone else using a disable first. Because your opponents are usually on their toes, and they're looking around for those arrows. You really have to live in sort of, or at least I do when I play against Potem. I live in a state of constant fear and paranoia. If I don't see her on the mini map, I'm just expecting an arrow to come from any direction. It's like, where's the arrow? It's gonna come. It's gonna hit me. Where's the arrow? But yeah, that's Potem for you. She comes out of nowheres with those arrows. The Rotanager has a point booster, which is, I'm not sure what he's going to use that for. He already has this mechanism, which is, I guess, his best to hit him. Normally, we'd think of him as going a Hood or a Vanguard, or a Hood and a Vanguard. I don't think I've seen him, an Necrolite, get an ult stick in a very long time in a pro game, and that is part of a point booster. Maybe he just got it to boost his points. Never underestimate the usefulness of a point booster to boost your points. And the bottom goes down to a Necrolite ultimate and a whole bunch of nukes. Necrolite is being a bit aggressive, and I'm not sure he should be back here so aggressive since his treads are on intelligence and he doesn't have a Vanguard. He's very fragile. Like, he's not as tanky as I would like him to be, but we see this Lich ultimate bouncing around like mad, which gets the Earthshaker down before he can do much stuns, and the Sven is in a lot of trouble. And this Necrolite's doing just fine. I guess the mechanism combined with his heals was all he needed. The Potem is running away. A little power oh, very nice power shot from Valeria, picks off the Witch Doctor. I was not expecting that. So yes, that was another very fantastic battle for the Sentinel team, and now they're up 15 to 8 in the hero kill count. And for Scourge to come back, they really need, I think they're not going to be making any good comebacks without Earthshaker having a Blink Dagger. Or not even Sven has one. Is Sven even close to one? No, Sven isn't close to one either. So Scourge is definitely in a bit of trouble, I think. They're behind, and their prospects for getting ahead aren't too good. But we see a very nice wards from Rash, is perhaps going to get a kill on this Necrolite, who's very difficult to kill. Oh, a Force Staff. I'm not sure if that was an ally Force Staff or an enemy Force Staff, but it put him in a very inconvenient position, trapped behind the fence. Ilaria has the Force Staff. I thought it would be her, that's why I clicked her first. So yes, Ilaria tries to save him with a Force Staff, but it ends up doing more harm than good, I'm afraid. Very unfortunate Force Staff. If she just waited half a second longer, her ally probably would have lived. But yeah, Force Staff is a great item on Ilaria. Pretty much everything's a great item on Ilaria. Everyone loves Ilaria. When I play Ilaria, I like to go just a silly build. I get all sorts of items like Force Staff, I get a Blade Mail, I get Phase Boots. I get so many items that do random things to click on. Ah, shucks. Ilaria gets another kill, and she might die for it because this Potem is looking to pop her with an arrow, I think. or at least pounce. There's the pounce, and Ilaria stuns the. Oh my goodness, she stuns the Earthshaker. She gets the Earthshaker killed, and now this Potom is. Oh, so down the Ilaria goes. That's the end of her godlike streak, and it goes. Actually, this is important. The Witch Doctor got the kill, which is a pretty big fail because that was 600 gold that went to the Witch Doctor instead of the Potom. So I'm very disappointed in that Witch Doctor for getting that kill. I think it was totally unnecessary for him to kill steal that because there was really no way the Ilaria was going to escape the Potom. No way at all. So I'm very disappointed in the play of the Witch Doctor. Let me check who that was. LC? No, not even sure. I'll check later. Meanwhile, Sentinel's pushing top lane. Ice. Ice Mage. So yes, I do not like the Witch Doctor's play there, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I think the game's not going well for them, and that 600 gold in the Potom really could help them turn things around, and 600 gold on him is just going to be absolutely useless. Actually, I think Earthshaker probably would have been the best person to give the 600 gold to, but he's not even close to his Blink Dagger, not really even trying. But I don't know, I'm skeptical as to how they can turn this game around without a Blink Dagger fight from the Earthshaker. But not only is he behind in gold, but he's only level 8, and yeah, their whole team's a bit behind in the levels. They're being out-leveled. I'll actually just... I don't think there's a battle about to happen, so I'll go through it right quick. Sentinel is 13, 13, 9, 7, 12. So 13, 13, 12, and then about 8 for their supports. The other team is 12, 12, 10, and then 9 and 8 for their supports. So the support heroes are roughly even, but the Sentinel carries are down about a level and a half. Windrunner's picked herself up an ultimate orb for a bit more survivability. Probably going to work that into a sheep stick. And some counter warding going on over here. La-di-da-di-da, counter warding. We've seen Invisible Crystal Maiden, but she better stay away from that sentry ward. Look out, Crystal Maiden. She should know that her ward up there was just counter warded, so it would be very foolish for her to wander up there. She should definitely be aware that there's a true sight ward. I always get them mixed up. Let me check real quick. Sentry. I mean, Sentry, Observer. It's hard to say which one is true sight and which one doesn't. They both sound so observant. Insightful. Sven is farming up a bit. He's picked up an Ogreax. We see Morphling headed to farm. This lovely bit of food for him bottom lane. He is working on a Mantis style. He actually picked up an ultimate orb before finishing the Asha. I think that's a bit strange because the Asha is pretty darn nice. The plus move speed on it usually makes it worthwhile to get that first. All of Scourge is invisible and they're doing a fight bomb, so this could be the turning point that they needed. But they go for a Necrolite image. Morphling is very aggressive, and he isn't trapped by the Rasha, but those wards are going to wreak havoc. They're moving forward away from the wards. The Witch Doctor has fallen down, tragically. Potom is leaping away. And Sentinel is just advancing full throttle. This tower is already dead. Great shackle shot from the Windrunner. Helps kill 2 more heroes. 2 more. So, okay, there now the Potom has fallen. And this could be a Rax. I mean, who is left alive? Very few people left alive. This should result in a Rax kill. And Windrunner, unfortunately, is not ulting it. I'm not sure. She has the mana to. I'm not sure if she doesn't have her ultimate or if it's on cooldown. Oh, I was saying it should be a Rax push. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. They didn't have any creeps. They were trying to backdoor that Rax. I don't say that in a negative context. There's nothing wrong with backdooring, but it's just that they didn't have any creeps there, so the tower was like regenerating like crazy and they couldn't finish it off. I did not realize this.